everybody, and welcome to the Arrow of Time. I am not going through puberty. I am having a cold a little bit.
Oh no!
Yes, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm drinking water and Cloroxing microphones and making sure that everything is nice and safe. And my name is Matt.
And I'm Joseph.
I'm Gabe.
And we have a thing that has been in front of us that we've been waiting for a very long time.
Basically years.
The new Star Wars trailer. OMG. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, we watched it together.
Oh, that's right. It didn't really stick.
That's what a lot of people have been saying. There's been a lot of fuss over this trailer. I don't know.
I thought they all died in the last one.
No, that was a not the same storyline.
Well, it was the same storyline, but it was a pocket story.
It's a pocket story, yes.
Not to be confused with a pocket book.
No. Oh, speaking of pocket things, I don't think this is going to segue at all. I just found out the original Legend of Zelda was like one of the last ones chronologically.
If you buy into the weird charts that they put in the book at one point, yes.
Because it takes place in a timeline where Link does not defeat Ganon in Ocarina of Time.
But it really, I think they were just messing with the fans because fans were clamoring might be the wrong word, frothing. For information about the correct order of the games. And they all had their own little theories. And so the original creators just came in and said, nope, you're all wrong.
Well, there you go.
Not everything has to be contiguous and continuity and one giant epic Zelda cinematic universe.
And speaking of continuity and timelines, also a little show called Doctor Who came about. Back again for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah, it did.
What did you think of that, Gabe?
I liked it.
You liked it, yes.
Wait, the episode or the fact that it came back?
Both.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence about it coming back.
No, Joseph is the naysayer now. I know. Well, now I guess he has always kind of been, right?
That hasn't changed.
I feel like you've gotten progressively more bitter since Doctor Who's been off the air, though, Joseph.
It was already starting when it was still on the air.
Remember? I can't even talk. Like my whole upper register is gone.
Just do your like low NPR voice.
Oh, so anyway, Joseph, I remember back in the day when we were doing this. Remember all the effort you put into making these podcasts, such as the Previouslys.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yes.
Something
no longer.
That has become Batman.
Actually, Batman would be more like this.
Yeah, don't do that to your throat.
I really like Doctor Who. It's an illusion, Michael, not a trick.
We just watched that.
Yes. Yay. Okay, I'm back. Voices.
But what else did we also just watch?
Master of None?
No, the episode of the show.
Yes.
Podcast we're on. Yes, we watched the pilot.
Yes. Which, oddly enough, because I made a comment about it, like, oh, it's the pilot, but it's really not. It's like, you usually don't have your pilot episode in this 10th season. But it actually drew a whole lot of remembrances back to the first episode, and even the first season, Rose. So
remembrances, the nice way of saying ripoffs.
Yeah, yes. Oh no, there were aplenty.
Well, so Moffat last week in the interview said that he intended this to be a jumping on point for new fans. So he purposely made the show such that
like Rose.
Yeah. It's like, well, we already have this script here. Change the plastic people to water person. Done. That's a very Ninth Doctor move to do,
yes.
too.
Well, so I read several reviews, and a lot of people compared it to Rose. For various reasons.
Yes.
And they said it was more like an RTD episode in general than a Moffat episode. Because it was described as quiet, not bombastic, was a term I saw.
Yeah, although on the other end of it is I have been doing this unfair thing whenever a doctor, there's a doctor and new companion episode, and I compare it to Smith and Jones, because that is like the quintessential, in my mind, transition from, well, because that's the one where you actually have a consistent doctor and a new companion has changed over. So I always hold that in such high regard, and I judge everything else off of that. And that could possibly be a mistake Smith and Jones is so good, and it's so fun, and there's just so many like highs and lows and all that. But definitely, like, this was a great episode. I've been trying to realize this is not an RTD episode. It's going to be darker. The tones are going to be different. Definitely, like, even like the whole look was brighter then. Things were a little bit more, especially in the tenant area, bouncy off the wallsy. But it definitely was compelling. However, I did, draw those parallels back to RTD. And I think that it was one of the ones that really made me appreciate the companion right off the bat. Where that's one of the things that I've always kind of been iffy about. I'm like, I don't know about this one. And right off the bat, I'm enjoying Bill. So good on ya. That was a successful job well done on that episode. Podcast over.
Well, so I thought the Bill was great. I liked the way that she was introduced to the show. And she even though she's new and it felt new, she was comfortable. Like, I never felt like, oh, it's like a shakedown period. You know, like they had chemistry almost immediately, which I thought was good.
Oh, they did, yeah. And I really enjoyed the fact, here I go again, going into my upper register. I really enjoyed the fact that they started the episode off in the doctor's study without the doctor, and it's at the university. The doctor's a professor. He's teaching for a reason. It's not because he likes teaching. It's because he's guarding something, which is also a nice little carrot that they're dangling over us, because he's working on something that is going on right around underneath the university, but we're not supposed to know what it is. And I guess it's going to have some other... Oh, it's probably the master, isn't it? It's a big box written in Gallifrey and
okay, so first of all, him inserting the vaults right from the get-go is probably one of the worst things he did to this episode, because it's showing that Moffat can't quite let go of his old ways. He has to try and have some mystery.
That's right.
He could tell us what it is, but he's not, because it's another one of Moffat's little tricks.
Yeah.
And then, if we know Moffat, he'll probably not go back to it for a while, so that we can have forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's going to be odd. I mean, no, we can't forget about it unless, you're just taking every episode as they come and not really thinking about it too much. But, I mean, that's a huge thing that they set up.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, Joseph, you seem to not be speaking too much. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this episode so far?
Well, I think it's fantastic. No, that's too much. Let's try to take again. It was good.
It's fantastic. If you've ever watched Hot Shots Part D, the late Miguel Ferrer,
I'd say the episode really fit the bill.
Oh,
I think everybody's made that joke on like every single review on the entire internet. So
really,
I think so.
I haven't seen it yet.
Not the ones that I read, although they're a much lower class of jokes and wittiness. Amazon.com.
Oh, don't read the comments or the reviews.
Yeah.
Don't even read the product descriptions.
Really?
Just hit buy.
Buy. Yeah.
No, but I did like the episode. It was all things that have been said. It was refreshing and not Moffat-like.
Yeah, isn't it time in this Moffat era to get a nice non-Moffat-y episode? Mm-hmm. I think that's what we were all just waiting for.
I liked that it was all about Bill.
I love that we hate Moffat. Like,
it's fun hating Moffat.
Yes.
Well, there was a quote in the Nerdist article that I read that was like 5 references and 4 mysteries was the title. But the quote there that I had to write it down because it was pretty good. I think I read it to you already. Is that it was about Bill without her being the plot. Mm-hmm. Which is an important distinction.
Which is what Clara was for a good chunk of her
Yes, run. That's what it was. Okay, thank you for naming that, because I was having problems trying to put my finger on what it was. But exactly, yeah, that's totally right.
Well, don't thank me, thank the Nerdist.
Well, yeah, but you pulled it out of the internet and then pulled it up here, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so that was good. I mean, as much as I, as you know, liked Clara, I liked Amy, the impossible girl, the girl who waited. In that order, went backwards. There was too much. That's the thing. Moffat wants to front load all this super important stuff, and he assumes that it's going to resonate with us the way it did with him when he was writing it, and it doesn't always. Sometimes we just want a normal episode with a normal plot, a normal companion.
He's just sitting in his den like, oh wow, I really overdid myself this time. Everybody's gonna love this. Type. Oh wow, I really got me this time. Yeah, no, I can totally see that. And that reminds me of in my days when I was writing in my playwriting class, and I would come up with these ideas that I thought were the best and the most creative and the craftiest things, and then I would read them in class, and everybody's like, "What? Why did you do that? That sounds stupid. These words don't link together on paper. What's happening? Did you just have a meltdown?" And then I'd be sad, and then rewrite it and edit them and take feedback and go, "Okay, this is the proper way to write a story." So apparently nobody's doing that over there in BBC Studios.
Or they just finally did it.
Yeah.
Well, he's leaving now.
Oh, well, this should be his. He just does whatever he wants to. He can't get fired now.
I actually think that I read that in one of the post-show interviews he did when he said that someday he'll learn how to do it. Because people were praising this thing that he did. And he's like,
oh, yeah.
He's being clever, saying, someday I'll get it.
Yes.
But it'll never be on Doctor Who because he's never writing another episode ever.
Never, ever, ever. I wonder if he's going to go on to write any, movie films.
Oh, that would be a loophole. I think we mentioned that last time.
Yes. That's right.
No, he's running for the all-new season of Class.
Oh. Bringing that in. Rescuing that from the old recycle bin. So, it starts off in Nardole is bringing Bill in, and she notices things around the room. So the doctor's not there, and she's looking around the room and notices a pen container full of sonic screwdrivers. And I made the notice that not only does it have all the old classic ones, but it also has both of the both versions of the blue, the 9th and 10th screwdrivers, which I thought was kind of funny. Where it just changed because of thickness, where it was modeled after the toy because it looked better on film or whatever they're using to record the shows.
Probably film.
Digital something. I don't know. I don't know, actually.
Do people still use film?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometime.
But you made a comment, Joseph, that is silly and would not happen.
Well, I always thought the premise was that when a screwdriver got busted, a new one got spit out. There wouldn't be any old ones lying around, unless he decided to just replicate them all.
Yeah, the TARDIS just kind of jettisons out these new screwdrivers, according to the Doctor, and
we've seen it a few times.
Yeah, we have, and so it seems like the screwdriver does get passed around until it breaks, and usually the next Doctor breaks the previous screwdriver. Mm-hmm. So then they have to get a new one, and they go dashing into a new whole thing. But yeah, so he's got a big canister of old screwdrivers there that I guess can come in handy.
Very nonchalant too. It's like a bowl of candy almost.
Yeah,
he did just toss one to Nardole.
It does seem rather odd because they're quite powerful. I don't think you would want to leave those things lying around.
I don't know. If you don't know how to use it, does it just make a sound?
I always got the impression that it somehow linked with your mind or something. Of I want to do this thing. I want to open this door. Oh, okay, it's going to unlock the door. That's one of the things I think Rose says. Oh, it just kind of seems to do what you want it to do. The Doctor has explained to different people how to use the sonic screwdriver, but for very specific things, like for Rory to open up the Pandorica. They do seem very dangerous to kind of have just lying around.
Speaking of Pandoricas, there's a Pandorica in this episode.
There is a Pandorica in this episode.
I feel like I'm having deja vu.
Oh, because we were talking a bit about that.
Oh.
Yes.
I knew that.
And that's where we're picking back up. Mentioning the, there's like a Pandorica-y thing. So I think that's a good specific thing. He has a talk in the office with Bill, and just basically interviewing her, possibly to see, I think that this is going to be my next companion, because he notices that when she doesn't understand something, instead of frowning like everybody else, she smiles, which is very doctor-like, and she has this whole thing about chips, which reminds me of the class episode, not the class episode, the episode where Rose is working as the chips girl.
Oh, yes.
And
school reunion.
Yeah, school reunion, where everybody is just enjoying the chips so much because they have some sort of goo on them. It makes
trans fats.
Well, so, yeah, Bill's not actually a student at the university.
No, she's an employee.
She just works in the canteen, or whatever they called it, doing chips. So her sole job is to come in every day and make chips. But she's obviously intellectually curious.
Right.
So she goes to and crashes the doctor's class.
She hears that everybody loves the doctor's class.
And nobody's quite sure what he's supposed to be teaching.
Yeah, that would be weird. You're like, here's just an open forum. There you go. Here's a chair, sit down. We're just going to be talking about things.
Well, we don't know how long he's been there. He might be tenured at this point.
50 years, I said.
Oh, well, there you go. He's been there for 50 years. He's tenured at this point.
Well, there you go. So then he must have gone back in time to the 50th. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, the doctor agrees to be Bill's tutor. And then him and Nardal go down into the little area, and she follows him. And they're looking at this, like, has Gallifreyan writing on the box. So it looks like a Pandorica. Nardal there's supposed to be a lock in the secret place, but Nardal set the lock to friends only. And which now doesn't work because Bill has become a friend of the doctor. So she enters, and they're looking or poking at it. They're doing something, guarding it, and very, very odd. I want to say that it was something, because of the fact that there was Gallifreyan writing on it. It seems like, could it be something that they're actually like bringing down, like from Gallifrey? Or that's why it makes me think that it could be the Master.
Yeah, it could be.
He finally has captured the Master, and that is a very dangerous Gallifreyan thing that other people could be trying to come and get.
But
other species.
Also, just from a logistical standpoint, I'm guessing it'd be something that'd have to be relatively stationary for the Doctor to stay there 50 years. And he even said that, like, it was he promised to stay there and guard the thing. So that's why when he left with Bill, he was like, I'm breaking my promise.
There's a lot of questions about that, yeah. Yeah, so he's breaking his promise to somebody. We don't know who he promised. And then, there's this whole weird thing circling around this question box.
Which is why I said that that's probably the worst thing Moffat did, was to put that in this episode. Because it just sparks that kind of Moffat thinks he's being clever thing. If he just let that out and had a clean introduction to Bill, perfect.
But no, has to have a giant carrot, inserting his carrot into the episode. That's what's happening now. Congratulations. Well, anyway, we got the setup of the story arc, because this is probably going to be coming in, and they'll be mentioning this box throughout the season until the end. And then at the very end, Moffat will pop out and go, "Surprise, it's me. I'm leaving."
Or he'll, like, pull off a face mask and be like, "I'm Chris Chibnall."
Oh, what if it's Chris Chibnall comes out of the box?
Is he Scottish?
No, I don't believe he is.
Well, no funny voices then. It's the end of an era.
I'm Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny about me.
If you watch Broadchurch, it's not a very funny show.
Yeah. Nobody's going to be having a good time watching Doctor Who anymore. That's all going to stop with me.
Well, they already started getting rid of colors, so you can just finish it and make it monochromatic.
Yeah, there we go. Was this a specifically
This was
colorless?
very, very, very low on colors. Yes.
That's
one thing that's not like the RTD era.
Yeah, RTD was like pretty much like a cartoon compared to this series. I know that like when they first switched over from Tennant to Matt Smith, the colors seemed to be more vibrant. I mean, everything had a tone of like a little bit more darker, but things seemed to definitely be more vibrant, and that was probably also due to the HD-ness of it. But with RTD, things were much more colorful. So I hope that we're not going backwards and we'll just be black and white.
Go back to SD as well.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we ran out of money. We're going back to SD.
Well,
okay.
we are bringing back the old Cybermen.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the path.
We can't afford to repair the TARDIS anymore. We just will show scenes.
Tiny corners of it that are still in repair.
Yes. So we have a couple scenes where Bill is out, and it looks like they whoever directed this was very much inspired by the Simon Pegg movies. It just seems like it has like all those like kind of crazy rough cut, jumpy, exciting, Who is that gentleman that always directs those, or at least the big three? Shaun of the Dead, and it definitely had that kind of feel of it, of like those quick, exciting, very vibrant, overstimulating. That's what it is, overstimulating cuts. So anyway, so we got that.
Well, definitely was meant to be paced like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say it was like The Ring.
Oh well, because you got the ghost girl who's dripping and crawling out of things.
But even more than that, though, like just the jump scares, the colors.
Yeah, they did have a lot of jump scares, which was weird. I always think though a jump scare it's something that like if you're completely out of ideas but you need to scare somebody, you use a jump scare, because as a good friend of mine always says, well, of course if you like make something really loud all of a sudden, I'm gonna jump. If it comes out of nowhere, like,
right?
I mean, that's just like the body's reaction. That's like you didn't get a real scare; you got a cheater scare out of me. Yeah, if you're gonna make me flinch, okay. There you have it. Good on you. So we got several of those throughout the episode. So Bill meets this girl, and is very entranced with her, and who has a star eyeball. Mm-hmm. And is very out of place, feeling very destitute and alone, and has been staring into this puddle and noticing that her face is wrong. Then we have Bill, who is more into this, I think, Heather? Yeah,
Heather, yeah.
Heather, yes. And then all of a sudden notices that, oh my goodness, after that whole shower incident, oh, by the way, I kind of glossed over Myra, who is the foster mom of Bill. And Myra is very much like Jackie, like pretty much down to the T. So like the voice, like everything that she does, like her actions, like the way that she goes about things is very, very much like Jackie. It's crazy. So her accent is very Jackie-ish. She's always making questionable relationship decisions, where even like there's the joke where Bill says like, "Oh, are you seeing this guy again?" And Myra says, "Oh no, why would I? He's terrible. He's the worst guy in the world." Blah, 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 blah. All these bad negative things about him. What would make you think that? Oh, because you're calling from his phone. It's like, oh, so. And yeah, right from the beginning, she's saying like, "Oh, you need to focus. Get your mind off the studies, and you need to focus on men."
And compensation.
Yes, exactly. But it's just like everything is just like so like up to the Jackie level. I'm just waiting for her to say Doctor Who.
I think we're well past that.
Yeah.
At this point, maybe.
Yeah. Oh no. I think that one of those is going to come out of Moira. So
Do you think we're going to see her again?
I think we're going to see her a lot if that's what Moffat's intention is. It seems like it's going to be very, very RTD-ish. I feel like he really took some parallels and pulled some strings out of RTD's box. He opened up his box that he's not using anymore, and he's using it. So, what ends up happening in here? We get a crazy whole scene, and there is a water woman. Heather has now turned into... She has been captured or turned into fluid and is following Bill around. And that's when she runs to the doctor. Beforehand, when the doctor is by the puddle, he takes a sample of it and says, "Oh, it's not water, it's copying you." And so he wants to look at the sample, but he gets a whole big ton of a sample when she shows up and whatever the opposite of evaporating is in his study.
Condensing?
Well, no, so the doctor actually did a little test there when he was asking Bill what's wrong with the image.
Yeah.
And Bill couldn't spot it. I couldn't spot it until the doctor pointed out it's not a reflection, it's a projection.
Isn't it funny how you can't spot things until in this show?
Well, yeah, but it's hard to think about. Because if you are looking at yourself in a mirror and you're not reversed, but you're so used to seeing yourself reversed, it might take a minute, especially maybe if you were going to try and like cut your hair or something, you might really notice it. But if you're just staring at yourself, like the big giveaway was that Bill had what I think they call them badges over there. She had a patch on her jacket.
Yes.
And that was the only really clear way to tell which way.
Wait, but doesn't it say wow, which is the same backwards and forwards?
Yes, that did not help.
It does, but...
It's on the wrong side.
Yes, on the wrong side, yes.
There we go.
Maybe that's part of the thing where they're like, oh, wow.
Oh, but that's why Star Eye Woman could see, because she had a very obvious non-symmetrical feature that she would be very aware of, as she hated it so.
Exactly. So, they do another thing, another reminiscent of Rose thing, where the doctor says, "Hey, why don't we hide in this box?" To which Bill's like, "Why would we do there? It's a box."
She asks if it's a cutaway, which I guess is
a
strange box that then would have the back cut out to go to a different room.
Yeah, and actually, it did show the depth of that. There's that little room with the bridge that goes from the doors to the big inside of the TARDIS. So here comes Nardole, and then they go to Australia first.
Like you do.
For reasons.
Well, no. First...
They're just testing...
First, they went
They're just testing the waters.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, dear.
First, they went down to the Pandorica room.
Oh, yeah, and she says that, this can go anywhere in the whole university?
Yes.
Which I like. Clever Moffat.
Then to Australia.
Yeah. And, that's when they meet him. And so, he said something along the lines of, after, when they were leaving Australia, because it was funny, he goes, "Oh, wow, did we change times?" And I was like, "No, we're in Australia." And then she's in Australia. Oh my goodness. So then the doctor really wants to shake Heather off. And so they go to, across the other side of the universe, millions of years in the future. And it was really weird because he said something to the effect, and I don't know if it was in reference to Heather or to somebody else. Because he said, because they're talking about, leaving the university and all that, and again, the promise. And so he said, if there's any trouble happens, and he got his psychic paper out. I was like, I'll leave a message, and we'll see how far she can get here, or how fast she can get here, or something like that. So I don't know if it was like the first part was and the second part of that speech were different, but it's like, who is he talking about? Because he may have just dropped in another character, like just loosely dropped in another character that we might need to be knowing about or could know about in the future.
Or already know about in the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Missy.
Yes, Missy.
There's no mystery on the show.
Hey, yeah, it's Missy. And so him and Missy are in cahoots again, and the master is in the Pandora cup.
Yep, we solved it.
Yeah, okay, there we
Last
go.
podcast. Good night, folks.
Well, no, so the alien oil slick that took over Heather can travel through time and space as well as the TARDIS,
Right.
which is weird.
Which is
That is
alarming.
weird.
Because that's not something you just let go on its merry way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a time traveling. That is kind of weird, though, that all of a sudden it, like, because it has determination to do something, now it can have all these powers of.
Also, once it found Heather, it found its pilot, and then it wanted Bill as its passenger.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's explicitly... No, it is explicitly stated that it locked on to Bill because Heather shared feelings for Bill.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, I want a whole lot of stuff, and just because I have determination doesn't mean I'm going to get it. I'm thinking that there's something more to this puddle thing, because it can just... Or unless that's all it is, that, I really wanted you, and so...
Well, no.
Because we're sharing this possibly, like, connection.
I think to travel through time and space like the TARDIS should require some massive energy source. We don't know anything about it, really. It's just...
Yeah,
As far as we know, it's a puddle of oil left by a ship that left Earth.
exactly.
Which makes it even scarier. What was it originally part of, if this is just what's left over?
Because, again, this is another Moffat thing of parts of a ship or something that is trying to repair itself. So there's a lot of things in there. So they decide to, at the end of the Earth, we're going to shake off this puddle thing. It's a lot of just going to different places and trying to shake off this puddle, which sounds ridiculous. And there was like this nice moment where they're in that a million years in the future on the other side of the universe land, where Heather is just kind of like coming out of the puddle. You can see her face coming up, and it was like that. I think it's probably very much a horror movie trope, but it also kind of has like if somebody who was killed or drowned in the bath, and then all of a sudden their spirit comes back up and is about to go on a killing rampage. Their dead face floats up to the top of the bath, and that's when they emerge. This happens.
That's why we take showers in the United States.
Yes, but that was I remember seeing that tons of times in like American Horror Story that happened. I mean, there's a handful of horror movies that I can name that did that.
Terror Bath, Death Tub, Death Tub 2.
The whole Death Tub series was, yeah. So yeah, using another trope. I'm sure that probably happened in The Ring, or I don't know. I just saw one of those movies. Did not care for it. Not because it wasn't a quality movie, but because it scared the dickens out of me. So
was The Ring the Sarah Michelle Gellar one?
No, that was The Grudge.
I saw both The Ring. So was The Ring with the little kid in the TV?
Yes, the girl in the TV that crawled up out of the well.
Okay, yes. That was
And
creepy.
out of the TV.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's why we don't have 3D TVs in the United States.
So anyway, she kind of floats up to the top, and it looks like it's going to be a nice tender moment of like, oh, she cares about me and all that. And then she makes the screaming noise again, and like, it's so odd. She needed to break this contract that she made of promising to always be with Bill. So it was just it was a very innocent thing, I guess, in the end. But she's very aggressive throughout with all this screaming and like being aggressive and attacky and all that.
I think it's a puddle of oily, watery stuff. it's missing most of the parts that whatever it was part of originally made it work properly, and now it's not working properly anymore. It's like, you're coming with me, scream, grab.
See, yeah, it's just so odd because like the way that it ends is so nicey nice or whatever. Or it's just like, it's very beautiful. There's even that whole like part that looks like a Dentine Ice commercial where they're like kind of, you know, going through like spaces behind them, and it's just, there's like a whole like flutter of like blue stuff, and it just I don't know, for some reason it seems like, well, yeah, of course I wouldn't want to go with you if you're screaming grabbing me all the time. That's not a nice way. There's better, nicer ways to ask me to come with you. Use your words.
Well, it couldn't. It could only repeat whatever Bill said.
When have we seen that before?
Like a couple RTD episodes, probably a couple Stephen Moffat episodes.
The snowman?
That was one of them, yes.
Didn't the Vox Generata, as they were using your little
that's
thing,
another thing. They could only repeat the last idea in the person's head.
Oh, yes, that's right.
which was actually a Moffat.
That is a Moffat.
That is
was
a Moffat,
an
yes.
RTD era Moffat, but still. Yeah, I shouldn't blame RTD for Moffat's episodes in his era.
Yes.
That was just getting ready for what we now know as the dark times.
The dark times. Cool. So she screamy grabs Bill, and then they go back and then say, okay, well, we're going to have to really shake. These other times that we tried to shake her off didn't work so well, but we're going to go to the Dalek country and let the Daleks deal with her. I don't know what that would have done. Maybe just seeing if she would be immune to Dalek laser blasts.
Which she was.
Yes. Surprise, surprise.
Well, I think there was some comment about the heat of the Dalek weapons or something.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
The best fire of fiery fire.
Yes. The most dangerous fire, the hottest fire.
The oldest fire.
Yeah.
Yes, the first fire.
Yeah, he should have gone the other way. He should have gone toward the Big Bang. Try to survive that without the TARDIS. You little weird puddle thing.
But all the puddle did was turn into a Dalek.
Yeah, it's a shapeshifter too. We forgot to tell you that.
So, did it find a new pilot? No, it didn't. Why did it change shape? What kind of character is this?
I liked, like I always do, the Dalek presence. And it was kind of cool when the TARDIS lands and immediately alarms go off. The Doctor is detected! You know, and I don't know why I move my hands like...
Because they don't have hands.
like dog paddling over here. I mean, that was... I like that. Now, I did think, and I don't know if it's just me, but the Dalek set looked a little janky to me.
It did.
Supposed to? Wasn't it supposed to look like Scarrow type, like old original series sets?
Even still...
They were in the middle of a war with Coachella.
Oh no! But it was the Khaleds or whatever.
No.
How did that one go? Who were the not Daleks?
It was not the.
It was just.
It was a race that was last seen in the fourth Doctor's tenure, I believe. The Movellans. They're described as beautiful android-like humanoids. I got that backwards. Human-like androids.
Android-like.
I feel like I saw a lot of white dreadlocks.
Yes, they have long silver hair.
Okay.
I think even in the old days they kind of repeated stuff every now and then.
Yeah.
It's easy to get these confused. There's a lot of episodes. But anyway, so there was an old place that he was going to, so I thought they were trying to make it look old. I didn't know where it was exactly.
Yeah, but even still, in the past, when we've gone back, like just last couple of years, when we've gone back, they make it look modern, like the way it should have looked. Not kind of cheaped out and said, well, it's old-timey.
There might not be any actual Dalek stories this year, which means this is just they're continuing to keep the rights to the Daleks in perpetuity.
They definitely filled their quota.
Yeah. So that might have just been thrown together because they're not going to use it again. So, yeah. We're not going to spend the money on this. Money's tight.
Yeah, right.
It costs a lot when you take a year to make 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So I said it before, but I really liked Bill, played by Pearl Mackie. She graduated in 2010 from the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, which is a pretty well respected theater school. She had lots of stage roles. Her breakout role was in the 2014 BBC series Doctors.
Doctors Who.
Doctors Whom.
Yeah, and I thought that, she the actor, I really like her presence. And
Yes.
she, the character, I think also Moffat did a good job. So
Yeah. No, she has a lot of personality to her. She is. So I guess this is kind of stepping back a little bit because this is a thing that it seems like the Doctor did for Bill, but one of the complaints earlier on in the episode is that she doesn't know who her mom, her real mom looks like, and so then all of a sudden she goes back home and her foster mom says, "Oh, I found this box belonging to your mom. I didn't realize it before. Here it is." So obviously the Doctor has tampered in her past, which he's wont to do. And she sees all these pictures, and it's a very sentimental, nice moment. And then in one of the pictures, you see in the corner, like of a mirror, the Doctor with a camera taking pictures. So did he just creep on her? Was he taking through the window pictures, or did he have a relationship and involvement in? Because then there's some other pictures where she was looking right into the camera.
Yeah.
So,
He might have picked some of them up. He didn't have to take them all.
just the weird, creepy, candid ones.
I like to think that he went back and befriended Mother. That's a little less creepy than him just creeping.
Or maybe because that one that she does see is pretty creepy. Maybe he just took that one creepy picture, and then she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry. Hi, let's be friends."
Or maybe he's Bill's father.
Don't even go there, Joseph. No.
Hey, it wouldn't surprise me if Moffat decided to be clever like that. Hey, wouldn't it be fun if I made everybody family again? That's what all my
Because remember, what's sitting on his desk is a picture of his wife and his granddaughter. Who's missing? His daughter.
Jenny.
Wait, Jenny's not. Oh, that's the. That doesn't work. That's not quite right.
Moffat didn't write that, so it doesn't count.
Okay, so I think that that's not going to happen because I think that Moffat really wants to have a normal. He's just a doctor. She's just a companion. They just admire each other. There's no sexual chemistry. There's no family relationships. They're just two people that happen to enjoy each other's traveling company.
She has River's hair. Big. I don't know.
So, what happened? What happened in this? I'm lost.
Well, we were just talking about how it was resolved.
Okay, so the Doctor makes a move to try to wipe out her memories.
Yes.
And she's keen to this because I like how she just figures in sci-fi as just fact now. So she's like, "Oh no, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna wipe my memory." Don't think I haven't seen that in the movie. It's like memory wipes are so plain as day now. It doesn't matter.
Well, once you've been stalked by a puddle and seen Daleks and traveled to the end of the universe, memory wipes are actually pretty mundane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she talks him out of it. She basically asks him, how would you feel if someone wiped your memory?
And then that's when they do it to you.
They play the Clara's theme.
Yes. Did you feel any tingles?
I did.
Yes, me too. And then I thought, I bet Gabe is feeling something right now.
Well, it's funny because, as you know, anybody's listening to the podcast, I was always a big fan of Clara. But I'm glad that we've moved on. As much as I liked her, and I did get that attachment, and I loved those moments with her theme, and when Clara was being really Clara, Bill's so fresh, and she is, precocious, but not in the way that Clara was, where Clara was becoming the Doctor.
Right.
She is not afraid to challenge the doctor and say what she's really thinking, not unlike Amy would, but
Yeah.
it just feels more natural because she didn't have a crack in her wall and see all of the time and space, blah blah blah. She's just Bill, and I like that.
Yeah, she was. What did you think about that?
What he just said or the episode?
I guess
It's deja vu again.
yeah, the bringing Clara into this. Did you like it? Did you?
That's fine. We knew that the doctor knew that something was missing from his memory, but he didn't know what. So
Yeah.
he can't remember what he can't remember.
Yeah, but that is a trigger for him. So he says, "No, I won't wipe your memories." And then as she leaves, I like how it's in his head. There's a conversation between Susan, River, and also the TARDIS, telling him to get her, and he's the companion. And he said, "I promise not to do that anymore." Again, with these promises, there's a lot of promises. This episode is based on promises, so I wonder if that's another thing too, because the whole basis for this puddle tracking down Bill is this promise that was kept. There's that promise, and then there's the promise that he's keeping to somebody about containing this thing that he has in the Gallifreyan box and not taking on any more companions.
Well, it seems bigger than that. It seems like he's supposed to just stick around at university to guard the thing. So I think even taking his TARDIS back to get pictures of Bill's mom was, leaving the university exposed.
Yeah.
It could already have escaped or been stolen or whatever. It was trying to not be done.
I don't know, but we're going somewhere next week
We are.
to the Hambots. They're not that Hambots.
Yeah, they're
Kind of like
robots.
they're kind of like Hambots,
They have face upgrade now.
or as Bill says, they speak emoji.
Yes,
Yay.
because she's a millennial.
Yes. Well, another thing that we saw, and of course we won't talk through this, but they showed us the series trailer. And of course the biggest thing is you get a shot of John Sim,
Oh yeah,
the new master, and he's beardy.
but I kind of wish they kept it under wraps, but it was already out of the bag. So
Yeah.
That's just the way TV is now. I think it's what all media is now.
Yes. So, I guess ultimate thoughts on everything, on this whole adventure.
I was happy. I mean, definitely last week I felt the excitement, like, oh, it's coming, it's almost here.
Yeah.
And then the way that we actually watched it the first time was almost anticlimactic because we rushed it to finish it before Saturday Night Live started. And then we didn't say a word about it because we started watching Saturday Night Live instantly.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk about it with anybody until Sunday. And by then I started to really kind of process it. And
Yeah. It is interesting, and I think too, I really enjoyed Nardole. Matt Lucas really stepped it up. His character is a character I really enjoy, and it's great that there's this other kind of companion that is always with the Doctor, but not quite as prominent as the Doctor's usual companions that he's just kind of there, sidekicking.
Sort of like a tin dog.
Yeah.
when they first announced, you talk about spoilers, that he would stick around for this whole season, I wasn't quite sure how I felt about that, but so far it's working.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Well, the other thing I like about it, because this is almost going back to more classic Who days when you had multiple companions that had various levels of interaction with the Doctor. So, Nardale's basically sort of like an assistant almost. I heard him described earlier as a butler.
Oh yeah. I can totally see that.
But he's just there hanging around, and then the companion is who in the past was described as an assistant is actually more like a sidekick, like Batman and Robin kind of.
Right. Yeah. The sidekick and the butler, I like it. He's definitely like an Alfred, except not so wise on things. So yeah. No, ultimately, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was fun. It wasn't bombastic. It had some serious elements. I wasn't on board with the scares as much. Like, it wasn't like the creepiest thing that Moffat has ever done.
Well, I think I mentioned last podcast, Moffat's MO for this season is find a monster and fight. It's going to be... It seems like it's going to be a lot of horror-style monstery stories.
So there's going to be like a lot of those. Like
probably.
Monster of the Week every week. So that's what we'll be able to look forward to. Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed it. It's strict.
Sorry, it probably sounds like I'm being sarcastic because I'm monotoning it because of my upper register.
Well, I am not being sarcastic. It was exactly the right tone. Between this and The Return of Dr. Mysterio, I've had back-to-back episodes that I will enjoy and watch over again. And
yay! Well, hooray for that! I'm excited. No, I really am excited for next week. For all of them to come out. It'll be fun.
So next week's episode was written by the same person that wrote In the Forest of the Night, or whatever it was called. It wasn't the worst episode.
It was just very, very dull.
The don't take your pills.
Yeah, that was the message. Don't take the pills, and also it's okay if the Earth gets hit by solar flares because of the trees.
Yay!
Yeah, it wasn't a very good episode. But later on in the season, we do have an episode coming out from the Kill the Moon guy.
Ooh,
oh,
that's the collar tug.
Luckily, he's writing the middle part of a 3-part.
3 parts.
So like one story. That's like
what is this? Yes. D Space Nine? I can't think of any other 3-parters.
Yes, you can.
I can. The one with the doctor. Oh man, that one. He traveled in time, had to save the world.
The other one with the doctor.
No, I don't remember that one.
Well, yikes is all I gotta say. No, I will be excited. Maybe it'll be a 3-parter with the Master, which has been done before with RTD.
Yes.
Well, is it how it's going to end? Is that what the 3-part, or is it in the middle?
It's episodes 6, 7, 8.
Wow. Cool. I guess that's different from what was that the previous series? No, the one before. Where everything was. I don't even remember things anymore because we had that year of nothing. So I'm trying to think of what was the last season, and then I'm like, no, that was 2 seasons ago because it happened 2 years ago. I'm like, no. That was last season because it was there's an empty year. Anyway,
for the most part,
yes,
all of the Capaldi era has blurred together into like one lump in my head. I could barely tell you Matt Smith's stuff.
Yeah,
I remember Tenet's all very well
because we enjoyed Tenet.
Yes.
Well, I think also you were more willing to watch them over again.
Yes, I've seen all of Tenet's at least twice, but it started dropping off. I haven't seen some of these once.
All right.
Is that time, Matt?
It's that time.
Do we have a WhoTube?
We do have a WhoTube fitting with this theme. It is called Doctor Who Punishment by the Garrow Studios. And they've been making some great WhoTubes. Good on you. Or Doctor Who fan vids as we
never ever say on this podcast.
Yes, sorry. Fanatical videos.
There we go. Perfect.
Yes. So it's a melancholy tone, but it's nice. It's good. I enjoyed it. Again, that whole mix of doctors. I always like a good mix. If somebody can not just stick with the most recent 3, and by recent 3, Capaldi, Smith, and Tennant. Because sometimes Eccleston, I get excited to see Eccleston again. But anyway, so yeah, go ahead and check that out. We'll link it to the page, which you can find at www.aotpodcast.com. But you're not supposed to say the W's anymore because that's for losers.
I've heard that like twice in the past couple hours.
Yeah.
You can put in a few mods. The website will just erase them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
We're not. That's not a thing anymore.
No.
Oh wow. Check us out on iTunes. Comment on us. Star us. I believe we're also on Stitcher.
I don't know.
Possibly. I don't know. There's a desert. There's a lot of things out there that we set up one time, and I think it's still happening. It just keeps on
churning out whenever we upload a thing.
Yes. So
we could have millions of listeners, and they're just spread across so many services we have no idea.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Oh. And I'm trying to think of all the other things.
Get us on Twitter.
Get us on Twitter. Yes.
At AOT Podcast.
AOT Podcast. And that'll be doing it for us for this episode of The Arrow of Time. I have been Matt.
I have been Joseph.
I have been Gabe.
And we have been The Arrow of Time.